lies the crown.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another I Am Heavy Cash podcast. You already know it's your boy, Don Heavy, representing for the NY and the Shy. We back at you today on April 5th, 2016. We going at you. We are done with the first quarter of the year. We have already completed 50 podcasts, and we got 50 more. You digs? Anyway, we're going to jump right back into it like we like to do it, because Don Heavy doesn't like to waste any time. Time is money, and you already know I don't like wasting money. I'm all about that cash. I'm all about that heavy cash. So let's jump right into it. And today we're going to talk about the topic of wealth transfer. Wealth transference. People buy a lot of things. You know, consumers are 70% of the marketplace. So people buy a lot of things. It's just what it is. People buy cars, people buy clothes, people buy homes. It's just what it is. And they buy them for different people. They buy them for themselves, they buy them for their partners, they buy them for the kids. But out of all of those people, themselves, partners, kids, friends, family, out of all of those people, the kids are the most important. Why are the kids the most important? Because the kids, the children are the future. It's just what it is. So out of all the things that we buy, we have to give it to the future. You buy clothes not to wear them today, but to wear them for the future. You buy a home, not to live in just today, but from today to the future. You buy a car, hoping that it can get you from point A to point B in the future, in the not too distant future, and in the far, far away future. That's past 100,000 miles if you plan on keeping it that long. And if you're not planning on keeping it that long, then if it already has 100,000 miles, then from point A to point B until you can get something else that will get the job done. Shout out to my man Jess. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. My man Jesse, he's the car guru. He knows how to buy a car for the lowest price and get something decent with less than 100,000 miles on it. I've never seen anything like it, to be honest with you. I think he's working with the car dealership and just getting money off the referrals, because that's how good he is. People know how to buy clothes on sale. My man Jesse know how to buy a nice car that's not even on sale, but he can get a nice car for the lowest price, not spend too much for. I don't even know how he does it. He's a mastermind, that guy. So shout out to my man Jesse all the way out in Philly. You already know what it is. But no doubt, people buy things all the time, and they want to. You want those things to last for the future, and you want to give them, to pass them down. Maybe you don't want to, but eventually you're going to have to pass a lot of things that you have down to people that you're raising to become adults in this world. Now, you could pass a car down, but if it's over 100,000 miles, or if Jesse didn't buy it for you, chances are you're not going to be able to pass that car down. And if you do, it's going to be a super hoopty. It's just what it is. Unless you got an antique that you're not really driving, then you can pass that down. But, you know, most people are not doing that. Don't ever, ever do your children the injustice by passing down the clothes. Don't you ever do that. Fashion already changes from season to season. I could buy a pair of jeans today, and tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, but next year, they will be null and void. They won't matter anymore, because fashion changes like the wind. Like the direction of the wind, fashion changes like that. So you don't want to buy clothes and then be like, oh yeah, Junior is going to be able to wear this. Come on, y'all. Really? That don't even sound right. That don't even sound plausible. He's going to rock these True Religion jeans in 2030? No. They're going to be like the bell bottoms. Not working for him. That's what it's going to be like. Just not working for him. So you don't want to pass down the clothes. You don't want to really pass down the whip. What about a home? A home could definitely be passed down if you have one kid. If you have more than one kid, then you're just going to start trouble. You're going to start a debacle that you won't be around to put the flames out. You got a will and everything, but who really goes by the will nowadays? People fight just to fight. So a legal document is not going to change anything. Trust me. So you have the will, you have the home, you have the clothes, and you have the car. The home is probably the best thing out of those three. But now you got education. So books and education that you can't get in school. Books and education that you can't get in school, that's just one form of wealth to pass down, which is a good form, because you definitely want to teach your kids the stuff that you didn't know growing up and the stuff that you acquired going through this rough life. And they can be of some advantage to your kids if they listen. One other thing that is definitely a game changer is liquid assets. You can pass down liquid assets from generation to generation to generation, and all they will do, if you pick the right ones, is appreciate with time. Like wine, they get better. Appreciate with time. Besides education, there is no better gift to give to your kids than to make sure they start off the game playing with a score of at least 0. Now, people are hearing my voice right now. Y'all hearing the Don's voice right now. Y'all saying 0? Who wants to start the game with 0? Well, let me tell you something. Most kids, especially in minority communities, start playing the game. They play this game of life starting with the negative against the competition. Like a score isn't already hard to come by. You saying a score of 0? How many times have you scored in this life? Really scored. I'm talking about something that you've done can still be accounted for today. So one thing that you've done has carried over to today, whether it be 3 years from now or 6 months in the past, 3 years in the past. What have you done that's accounted for today? If you can't account for it today and over 6 months has passed, then no, you haven't really scored anything. You still have 0 in the game. That's what I mean. So the best thing to give to your kids are liquid assets and an education that you can't buy in school, an education that you can only acquire through experience. So they can at least start the game off with 0, because that is important. Because in some communities, in certain communities, I won't name any communities, but the white communities, the transference of wealth is like a birthright. In the white communities, excuse my voice, the white communities, it's like a transference of wealth is a birthright. Some make it their business to make sure their kids, regardless of how capable they may seem, that is a big one, to make sure that their kids start off with some type of cushion, with some type of score in this game. Now, how capable they may seem is a big one, because not all these kids are capable, and some of them just, for lack of better words, just F it all up. I don't feel like cursing today, but sometimes they just F it all up. They just blow right through it. But you know what? Billy or John or William or whatever his name is, Frank, they're going to pass their kids that liquid asset. They're going to make sure their kids start off with a good amount of cushion in this game, with more than a score of 0 in this game. And their kids are going to be better than your kids if your kids have a score of 0 or in the negative. Because that's what happens. Most kids in the minority community start off with a score in the negative, some type of way. Because we're not taught the things that other communities are taught. We're not taught the same ideals, which is fine, but we're not taught the importance of certain things like liquid assets, which is not fine. Everybody should know the importance of liquid assets. Everybody should know the importance of transferring wealth to the next generation. That changes the game. That could bring somebody from the poor class to the middle class to the high class. If you do it right. If you do it right. Even $70,000. Now, a lot of y'all might say $70,000 is not enough. But I ask you, do you have $70,000 in the bank? And if you do, would you be willing to give all your money in the bank to your kids? Now, what's the best way to handle this? What's the best way to handle all of this? Now, the best way to handle this from my perspective, from Don Heavy's perspective, is before we even start to have kids, we should already have something building for the long term. All right, that's what investment is for. It's not for today. It's not for next week. It's for the long term. It's for a couple years from now. You put that money aside. You let that money start working out for you and build the money on top of that money. And you keep on doing whatever it is that you're doing to make money. That's what you do. So you build something for the long term, for the nest egg. And with that, you're going to set something aside for the offspring. And it should be rather easy because you already have the habits already being formed because you're investing for the long term. This way, you can low-key change the destiny of your family. Now, it's just a reality. Not all of us can make it, but all of us can set it up to the point where we have a Super Bowl team years after we are gone. We have a championship dynasty years after we are gone. We can all do that. You might not be able to live to see it happen. Things happen. So you might not be able to live to see the family name rise up through the ashes, but you might be able to set it up. Well, no, not a might. You will be able to set it up so that your family can do things in the future, and they'll be able to thank you for it. Thank you, Grandpa, great grandpa, whatever it is. Thanks, Pops. Money won't do it by itself because money's not idiot proof. It's just what it is. And that's where I go back to, no matter how capable the kids may seem, they still make sure little Johnny is set up. the way he has to be. Money won't change the game by itself. Money is not idiot proof. We see that all the time with people going through bankruptcy, people becoming millionaires and then being broke and working in the McDonald's 6 years later. Money won't do it by itself. With the money, you need a money education. But what will do it is the habits, the character, and the skill acquired from starting this. It should be passed on to the next generation. You're making the next generation more aware of the dollars and more aware of how to appreciate the dollars and not just clocking in to appreciate the dollars. Not just going into somebody's office to earn a dollar, but being able to know how to make the dollars earn money or earn dollars on top of the dollars that they're investing. That's the power of it. Knowing the power of compound interest and how compound interest affects everything in this world. That's an education that's worth having. And that's an education that's free. And no, I'm not talking about public school. I'm talking about free. You learn that with experience. It's free. It might have cost you, but it's free to pass it down and it's free for them to listen. That is the power of wealth transference. Not just monetary wealth, but education and intellectual wealth. Okay? Heavy cash is not just heavy cash. All right? Heavy cash is the mindset. The heavy mindset that heavy cash can be gotten. It can be acquired. It can be received as long as you're doing the right things that you're doing. Don Heavy ain't wasting all his energy for nothing. It is Tuesday. It is April 5th, which means that it is another round of facts, in my opinion. So first fact, in my opinion. Number one, if you're passing down a car to the next generation and it's not something that was made out of this country that'll last that long, you're doing them a favor, and you might put them in a trap on wheels. You might put them in something that when they hit the brakes, there will be no brakes. The brakes will just fall out one day, and they're gonna be doing it like the Flintstones with their feet. You know how they ran in the car, how their feet was running into the car, and then they used their heels for brakes. You don't want to do that. Fact, in my opinion, number two: if you dare embarrass your kids with clothes that you wore in your 20s. First of all, some of y'all ladies, now I'm gonna just keep it real. Some of y'all ladies, the things I see y'all wear and the garments I see y'all put on, or the missing garments that y'all didn't put on. I don't know if your outfits come like that, missing certain things, or if you just buy them like that. But if you dare put your kids in that stuff, you need to be raising wholesome kids, wholesome children that find importance in things other than the way they look or how many things are available to see by the opposite sex or by the same sex, however they get down. Another thing, guys, I did this too. In the early 2000s, I wore clothes that couldn't fit me, especially when I was old enough to buy my clothes. I wore clothes that couldn't fit me. Now, it's 2016, now we wear fitted clothes, fitted everything. But in the early 2000s, late 90s, we was wearing baggy. Baggy was the thing. If you're still wearing baggy and you go to transfer your clothes to your kids, to your children, to the next generation, if you couldn't fit it, how do you expect them to fit it? And not even if they're plus size, because if you did it the right way, if you was wearing baggy the right way, you was wearing something 3-4 sizes too big. Just what it is. Fact in my opinion. Fact in my opinion number 3. If you buy a home and want to pass it down to the next generation and you only have one home, if you are unable to acquire another home for the rest of your children, fact in my opinion, give it to the first grandchild or give it to the one that practices responsibility from the earliest age. Because a home is a lot of responsibility. You have taxes, you have bills with that. It's not something that you could just leave to the side and let it appreciate, and it doesn't take much thought. All you got to do is have enough brains to sell it. No, there's a lot of responsibility with the home. So definitely give it to the one that displays the highest rate of responsibility. And with that being said, thank you for tuning into another I Am Heavy Cash podcast. If you did not already, definitely get on the Facebook, definitely get on the YouTube and check out Black Market Watch 8. We're talking about mutual funds. Black Market Watch 9, Black Market Watch 9, Black Market Watch 10 will be on the way. We have a special edition of the Money Talks called Money Talks New Money. It's coming out real soon. It's coming right at y'all real soon. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Definitely follow Don Heavy on Instagram at Heavy on him. Definitely follow Don Heavy on Twitter at Don_Heavy_invest. And check out Don Heavy on Snapchat, y'all. Y'all not giving me no Snapchat love? Word? Money by the Minute be on Snapchat all day, every day, Monday through Friday. Y'all not gonna give Don Heavy no love on Snapchat, aka Trap Chat, because I'm not showing my nipples all day. Y'all not gonna give me no love because I'm not showing my nipples all day. That's word. That's your word. So I gotta show a little nip to get some love on Snapchat. Man, y'all don't stop playing with me. Check out Don Heavy on Snapchat at Don Heavy. That's D0, the number 0, well, the digit 0, the number 0, D0N Heavy. Check me out, man. And tune in on Thursday to another I Am Heavy Cash podcast. I'm out. Peace and love.
This program is brought to you by Her Pretty Ghost and Better New Business. Thank you for tuning in.